Okay, so today I'm gonna give you my first impressions on this, the Power Egg X. Let's get started. What's good, guys? Ken here. You're watching Original Dobo, and today I'm gonna give you my first thoughts and impressions of the Power Egg X. I don't know why it's so hard for me to say, Power Egg X. And by the way, if I haven't already said anything, this video is sponsored by NordPass. They have been kind enough to sponsor this channel for the entire month. That sponsorship makes videos like this possible, so I don't have to rely on Patreon or anything else that nickels and dimes you guys as my viewers. So I'd appreciate your support in that and not be, you know, oh, you got a sponsors champion. If you want me to send you my electric bill, I know who you are. Okay, so let's get back to the drone. All right, so this thing is really weird. I'm not gonna lie, this is my first powervision product ever. This is the first product. I saw this at CES and I didn't give it a lot of credence. I actually didn't even spend a lot of time at the booth looking at it. I don't even think I actually filmed it, to be honest with you. So what makes this thing so special besides the fact that obviously somebody at PowerVision has a fetish with eggs? Well, for starters, it's a modular drone. This whole thing becomes a very large unit. So there's a little tab here down at the bottom. Take that off and bam, it exposes the camera and the drone. Take off this top cover here with a little click of a button, 2 buttons, and now you can get to the battery, and just beneath that is where your SD card slot is. Grab yourself a arm. Did I put these on the right side? Yeah, I did. So we'll get this arm. I swear it's easier than it looks. It's just because I'm filming. Grab another arm, and now, well, hang on a sec. Now we have sort of a drone form in here. It's actually pretty large. Good Lord, it's big. It's such a big drone. It's such a big footprint. And then we'll just slide this top cover back on. There we go. And this we don't need right now because that's gone. So now we have a drone. So it's a totally modular drone. So if you break these arms or something like that, you can basically just replace it and not have to worry about replacing the entire drone. Now it does fold up like this. Like if you want to fly like a starship, like, no, you can't fly like this. I'm just joking. Don't try that. But yeah, basically it's, I don't know, it's an egg Mavic, if that's what you want to call it. I don't know. It's so weird. It's so freaking weird. But the specs on this thing are pretty 2018, 2017. The camera on this drone is 4K, 60 frames per second. It does have the capability to shoot up to 75 megabits on the bit rate. Not quite 100, but better than what we've seen on some, which is 50. I think the minimum for 4K is like 60. But the gimbal on this thing reminds me a lot of the Mavic 1. As I bring it up to the camera here so you can see it, you'll actually get like some old nostalgic vibes of this. But it's just a very fragile gimbal, unfortunately. So it's very tiny, fragile, but it reminds me a lot of the Mavic 1. So yeah, so it's a 12 megapixel camera. It's nothing really all that exciting. There are no color profiles, so you're not getting any things like desync-alike or even log profiles. Unfortunately, it's very basic. It does shoot raw, it does shoot auto bracketed exposures, which is cool for you guys that like to do that. I know me personally, I love auto bracketed exposures. 30 minutes of flight time. So this battery that's located in here, I've got to take this cover back off, but this battery here is 3,800 milliamps, which is pretty incredible because it's so tiny. It does have a very Mavic-like vibe to it. Even the charger reminds me a lot of the Mavic. The battery top, you hit the top portion here and it'll give you the status of how much battery is left. It goes in increments of 4, so quarters, I guess, is what we'd call it. Yeah, 30 minutes of flight time. It can go 3 miles in distance as far as range goes. I will tell you that this drone shipped with 2 batteries. Out of the 2 batteries, only 1 battery is functioning because it bricked. It like is no longer working for whatever reason. After doing a software update, or I thought it did a software update, I took it out in the front of my house just to sort of get an overall feel for it, and it wouldn't power off any further. So the only way to power it off was to pull the battery out of the drone. Pull the battery out of the drone, threw it back on the charger, and now it doesn't turn on at all. So yeah, I think I got it right here. So here's the battery right here. If I click it, now I know this battery is fully charged. If I click it, if I hold it, no matter what I do, it no longer turns on. So I'm gonna reach out to PowerVision support to see how they handle an incident like this. I'm not going to go through the people that actually sent me the drone. I'm going to go through their actual support channel. It'll also give me a good idea of like what to expect from their support team. I'm not going to have them, I may even just have my wife call them and see what they say and see how they treat her versus, you know, me saying who I am. So I think I'll try that first. I think it'll be a good experience. I've heard good things about their support team. I've heard bad things about their support team, but unfortunately that's really like any company nowadays. To attach this gimbal, it's a little bit finicky, to be quite honest with you. It's like you got to get it from the back here. Like most things, the best way to do it is get it from the back. Oh, it's terrible. But there you go, it's on. So once it's on, it's on. It's not too bad. There we go. So that's the drone itself. Interesting little product. It's weird. Now it does ship with these as well. Ugh, get these, I got all this stuff. You can get a optional kit. This is called the Wizard kit. I don't know why it's called Wizard, because this kit, just the drone by itself, is called Explorer. So I thought this would be cool to call this Expedition, but they called it Wizard. It makes no sense from a naming logic. Maybe wizards like eggs. But this will allow you to land on the water, sort of like a water plane. They are fairly light. They also are weapons. If you know somebody's trying to take your drone, you can be like, no, get out of here. But yeah, so these will attach just to the bottoms of the feet here. We're not going to do it now because we'll do this later. I was hoping to do this, but funny story, I went out to the lake yesterday and then the battery was bricked, so I couldn't fly. If you are flying around water, you do need this. This is a shell for your egg because the shell on this egg is not waterproof, so you need to put it in something. This, I swear to you, it looks like something straight out of Ninja Turtles. I feel like I would put the brain in here and then his little arms would come out and he'd be like, the turtles would fail. But yeah, this is a shell that the drone's gonna go into. Only time will tell whether or not this actually yellows or how much scratches this front cover sees. You can see just from touching it with my hands, there's a fair amount of hand oil. I mean, my hands, I think I just also spit on there, but I digress. No, I did spit on there. Oh, that's nasty. But yeah, so I mean, this could get pretty scratched up. Actually, I think there are some scratches already on this. I don't know if you can see it, but there is already scratches on here. That wasn't from me, I don't think anyways. But yeah, so that's the problem with plastic, is scratches like this could occur. So you need this on the drone to make it waterproof, essentially. We'll test this out later on. All right, let me get the drone out of the way and let's talk about the controller. All right, so the controller is pretty nice, actually. Like, from a controller standpoint, it feels good in the hand, which is important. It feels like it's got a little heft to it, doesn't feel all white. The dicks, they're really nice dicks here, and you know, you can move them pretty easily. They feel good. They feel really good in the hand. It's always important when you grab a dick that you just hold it firm. So they feel good though. It's got antennas much like the Mavic Pro and the Mavic 2 Pro and basically most all DJI drones. If you didn't tell anybody this was a DJI or a powervision controller, they'd probably mistake it for a DJI controller briefly. On the front here, you do have a couple of little buttons. I don't really know how I feel about these buttons. I keep accidentally clicking them while I'm flying because I'm trying to pinch this and the way I rest my hand, so I keep accidentally clicking them, but it is clever how they put them in here. The piece that holds your phone, you're either going to love it or hate it. I'm not really a big fan of the phone holder. I feel like it's a little finicky. However, it is better than the Anafi controller, so I guess there's that. There's a little cover on the back side of this that covers the port for you to actually plug and connect to your phone. There's two buttons on the back side here, one for your photo, one for your video. And then of course you've got your gimbal dial here where you can change the pitch. On the front side, there's just a micro USB. It's not a USB-C, unfortunately, which I think is a shame for a drone in 2020. It should have all USB-C. On the back side too, there is a speaker. Holy hell. The obstacle avoidance on this thing is stupid loud. Really, I'm sorry, I'm not even entirely sure that that's a speaker. That just may be vents for the internals, but the obstacle avoidance, that beeping sound, it almost sounds like there's a speaker. It's way too loud, super annoying. I turned off obstacle avoidance right away. So yeah, there's a brief overview of what you get in the box if you get the Wizard. And I guess the next thing is, how does it fly? So let's go out to the beach and see what we got. Alrighty, so I'm out here at the water. This is literally my favorite spot to test a drone. So we'll see what the powervision can do. I've never flown a powervision. I have no expectation of the camera, although I have heard it looks a lot like a Mavic Pro 1. So we'll get it all set up. I'm gonna film in 4K 60, and then I'll go ahead and have a screen recording of the app so you can sort of see what's going on. I think I'm just gonna leave it in automatic, to be honest with you. I don't think there's any real reason to film manually for the first flight. Also, no landing gear and no waterproof housing because I just want to see what it can do. It's also a little bit windy, so hopefully we don't have any issues because I'll have no way to get it back. I got it at 18 millimeters. So the drone's right there, but look at this thing. It'll fly and stop. Look at it. It's like stopping. I can't explain it. It'll like fly, stop, fly, stop. I don't know. It's weird. It's like the obstacle avoidance just keeps enabling. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. All right, so far, what the hell? I've used 84%. I'm at 84% right now. But I haven't been flying it that much. So weird. Do I hand catch it? Oh, it almost hit the water. Whoa. Hey, we got it. Not recommended, but you can catch the egg. That was sort of not impressive for my first flight. I had to turn off the obstacle avoidance because it just kept going bonkers and it was like stopping. Now I did update the firmware, but I noticed on the screen it said the firmware failed. So I'll have to go back, charge the controller, and try to run it again. I'm not sure if it's because of the battery or what, so we'll go back to the office and see what we can make out of this. Alrighty, so after looking over the footage from this camera, it's really not impressive at all. I'll be completely honest with you. If you were hoping this camera was going to be anything amazing, you'll probably be severely disappointed, unfortunately. So if you're buying this drone, you're probably not buying it for the camera. The other thing too, the obstacle avoidance is just overly aggressive. It was stuttering, and I don't know if it was the sun or what it was doing, but it would fly like 5 or 6 feet and stop. Fly 5 or 6 feet and then stop. I don't know if you guys could see that in that little video clip that I did, but that was pretty much the most annoying thing that this drone did was, so I ended up just turning off obstacle avoidance altogether. Funny enough, if you fly with the little shell, it's gonna automatically turn off obstacle avoidance anyways. Even if you forget to, there's like these little covers here that'll go over the obstacle avoidance anyhow, so yeah. But definitely, I'm gonna take a closer look at the firmware because it said it failed. Again, I'm not really sure how this thing does its firmware updates, but we'll try the firmware again. I'm gonna charge the controller up. This is by no means a full review, but who is this drone for? This is $899 for just the Explorer kit and then $1249 for the Wizard kit. So for me, that's a lot of money, and I think there are a lot of good options. But speaking of options, let's hear from our sponsor of today's video, NordPass. I've made a lot of mistakes online, but one in particular was reusing passwords on multiple websites. Now I get it, a lot of people do this, and it's simpler just to remember one password over many. Luckily with NordPass, I don't have to remember them all. Nope, I just need to remember one. NordPass is powered by the creators of NordVPN. So they have online security and privacy experience. NordPass allows me to store all of my website credentials in one convenient location and log into all of my accounts with just a few clicks. NordPass can also generate complex passwords, so I don't have to. Shopping online is also safer since NordPass can store credit card details and recognize suspicious websites, so I don't accidentally reveal any of my sensitive information, which I've actually done that a few times now. With zero-knowledge architecture, my data is encrypted locally before it ever reaches NordPass servers. With top-of-the-field encryption and Argon 2 key, NordPass guarantees my data will always be safe. With 24/7 customer support and a 30-day risk-free guarantee, you've got nothing to lose. Best part of NordPass is no matter what platform or device I use, my credit card and info will always be available to me. With applications for iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, and yes, you guessed it, even Linux, and most popular browser extensions available as well. Right now, my viewers can get 50% off NordPass by using the link in the description below, or just use code OriginalDobo at checkout. And it's only $2.49 a month, plus you'll receive an additional month free. I want to thank NordPass for being awesome and partnering with my channel, especially since I am super forgetful with stuff like this. Back to the video. Alrighty, so yeah, I'm gonna probably shorten that little ad spot up a little bit, try to trim it down a little bit, but you know what? Big thank you to NordPass for sponsoring me for this video, because honestly, it makes being able to bring quality content to you guys a lot easier, because I do really try to put a lot of effort and time into this. And eventually, I'd like to just do this full time, and I will not use Patreon because I will not ask for donations ever, because fuck that. But back to this. Who is this for? $12.49 or $8.99? It's a steep price to pay for very 2018, 2017 specs, unfortunately. So for me, like, this is sort of a hard pass right now. Now, again, that all depends whether or not I like how it does in the water, and the fact that it is waterproof, of course. I shouldn't fail to mention that. I could fly this in the rain, so if you value those things, then maybe this is worth it. We'll see how it does in the rain. I'm waiting for a rainy day to take it out. I have this thing for 30 days before I have to send it back, so I really want to put it through hell in those 30 days to really, give it a good college try anyways. But I just sort of wish companies would stop trying to make something different just for the sake of making something different, because it's just not practical. And that's the reason why DJI drones are so popular with many pilots, because they are so simplistic, they fly well, and they just do a great job overall designing them. And again, it doesn't have to be different to be different. And this is just different. It's an interesting concept. I do like the fact that these arms do detach. So if you have a crash, you can replace it, or maybe if they add upgraded ESCs or something later on, you can buy new arms. So, I mean, that's a cool idea. But beyond that, I just don't know how practical it is. I don't think a lot of pilots want to, have to do a whole setup process and put legs on. They just want to sort of unfold their drone, get up in the air. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys like this sort of idea, but I'm going to keep flying it. I'll be optimistic with it. Right now, not the first best impression, but we'll see how it goes. All right, that's going to do it for this video. We'll see you next time. Stay original.